Hello everyone, in this video I'll be doing a walkthrough of Project P1 on my Windows laptop. If you use a Mac laptop, please know that I've already recorded a Mac version of this video. You should be watching that one instead. Go to the course website schedule page and find Introduction Lecture entry. You'll notice that Lab P1 and P1 links have been released as part of the introduction lecture entry. I'd like to reiterate that all of you should be working on Project P1 version from the current semester, which is the Spring 2021 semester. If you're working on an older semester version of P1, you'll be turning in the wrong code for Project P1. Please make sure to verify that you're working on the correct version of P1 by going to the current semester's course website and clicking on P1 link. At this point, I'm going to assume that you've already gone through Lab P1. If that is not the case, please pause this video here and make sure to go through Lab P1. Click on P1 link and that should open the GitHub write-up page for Project P1. At the top of every project write-up page, you're going to see a learning objectives section. Please make sure to always go through the learning objectives section. In Project P1, you're going to learn how to download project files and how to create notebook file. You will also be learning how to run auto-graded test scripts. It is your responsibility to make sure that you run auto-graded test script for every project before you turn in your project code. Finally, you're going to learn how to turn in your project code on the course website. I'm going to assume that you've already installed Anaconda 3 and thereby Python 3. If that is not the case, please pause this video and follow along the installation guidance video. Step 1 will be about downloading project files. Before we download any file for Project P1, let me first show you how you can organize your directory structure for saving all the code that you write for CS220 this semester. Go to the Windows search bar and type in File Explorer and double click on the application to launch it. I already have File Explorer open. Navigate to Documents, right click, hover on New, select Folder, rename the folder as CS220. Double click to enter into the folder. Right click one more time, hover on New, click Folder and rename the folder as P1. I'm going to assume that you would have already created a Lab P1 folder following similar steps. Please make sure to create similar folders for future projects and labs. For example, create a Lab P2 folder and P2 folder. It is essential that you follow such a directory structure because you'll be using the same file name as main.ipynb for every project. If you don't have an organized directory structure, it can get very confusing as to which project a particular main.ipynb file belongs to. Now that we are done creating the directory structure, let me switch back to my project write-up and I want to show you how to download test.py file. Where can you find test.py file? Scroll all the way to the top of the write-up and you should be able to see a list of files there. Let me show you what you shouldn't be doing to download files from GitHub. You shouldn't be right-clicking on a file and using Save Link As. That's because that will download a HTML version of the file, which is not what you want. Instead, you should be using the left click and you should be locating raw button. Right-click on the raw button, click Save Link As. Navigate to the folder that you just created using File Explorer and make sure that you're inside P1 folder, then click on Save. Let's switch back to the File Explorer. Let me show you a keyboard shortcut for that. You can press both Alt and Tabs on your keyboard keys together. When you press Alt and Tab together, that will show you a list of all the currently running application. And I'm going to switch to the File Explorer. Double click on P1, verify that you're able to see test.py, and I'm going to hit the back button here. Let me hit the back button on my browser, and I'll go to the next step, which is going to be about creating a Python notebook file. In order to create a Python notebook file, we want to be able to navigate to the directory P1 that we just created using File Explorer. So you need to figure out the path name of the P1 directory. Let me show you how you can do that. Switch to the File Explorer window. Press the Shift key and right click on P1 folder. Then release the Shift key and click on Copy as Path. What we are going to do next is we are going to launch PowerShell window. Go to the Windows search bar and type in PowerShell. I use PowerShell so often that I've pinned PowerShell to my taskbar. Feel free to do that on your laptop as well. When you launch PowerShell, by default, your current working directory will be your user directory. You can confirm that by running the pwd command. So how can you change to the P1 directory? You need to type in cd for change directory, and you can paste whatever path name that got copied to your clipboard by using the paste option. Looks like my clipboard copy did not work, so I'm going to try that one more time here. So I'm going to copy my path and let me paste it. Let me go ahead and press enter. And now when you run the pwd command, you should be able to see that your current working directory is in the P1 directory. How can we launch Jupyter Notebook? You need to type in Jupyter space notebook. Note the misspelling for Jupyter. You need to type Jupyter with a Y. Then hit enter on your PowerShell, and that should launch a browser tab for you, which will open a Jupyter Notebook session. You should be able to take a look at the list of files in the current working directory. How can you create a new notebook file? Click on the new drop down on the top right corner and click on Python 3. That should enable you to create a new notebook file. Let me show you how you can launch another PowerShell window. If you have it pinned on your taskbar, you should be able to click on the PowerShell window again. It is critical that you shouldn't close the PowerShell window which has the Jupyter Notebook session. Otherwise, you lose data from inside your notebook program. That's not what you want. So you shouldn't be closing the PowerShell window to the Jupyter Notebook session unless you're done saving your program and you'll not be working on it anymore. So I've launched a new PowerShell window here. Now I need to be able to go back to the same folder. So I'm going to cd into the folder. I'm going to once again copy the folder path to my clipboard. And once I do that, I'm going to press enter. Go ahead and run the ls command. Notice that this time you're seeing an untitled.ipynb file. Ignore the .ipynb checkpoints file. That's just a temporary file from Jupyter Notebook. So how can you rename the file that you just created using Jupyter Notebook? Click on untitled and type main. Switch back to the PowerShell window. Use the up arrow key on your keyboard. Execute the ls command again. Notice that now you're getting main.ipynb. Let me switch back to the GitHub right up here. We are done with step 2. We have created the Python notebook file. Step 3 is going to be about copy pasting code. select the code in this highlighted part here and use Ctrl and C keys on your keyboard to copy the code, and you're going to paste the code into cell, which is this rectangular structure highlighted here. Click inside the cell and use Ctrl V to paste the code. Now we are going to run this code. There are a couple of ways to do that. You can use the run button on the top here, or you can use Shift and Enter key on your keyboard. Once you run the code, you should see an output box which displays Hello World. Let me go back to the project write-up here. I'm going to encourage all of you to perform incremental autograder testing of your project code. So if you're done writing code for one question, run your autograder test script to verify whether that question's code is working or not. So we are going to come back to step 3. We are going to for now pause step 3, and the steps for running autograder test script is inside step 4. So you need to go to the alternate PowerShell window which you use to run the ls command, and type in Python and test.py and press enter. So that should enable you to run the autograder test script. It will take a couple of seconds here. So notice that we are getting some test result output here. It is saying that the total score is 0 and that it was not able to find either question 1 or question 2. What happened? Did we just paste the code for question 1? We did, but then we did not save the file. So you'll have to save your notebook file by pressing Control S. Notice that you got an auto saved notification on the top here. So now when I switch back to my PowerShell window and use the up arrow to repeat the autograder script execution here, this time it should be able to show me test result for question Q1, and notice that question Q1 test result has passed. If there are any issues with your code, you'll see a fail here, or if you are yet to write code for a particular question, you'll see not found. So let's switch back to the GitHub write-up and let's finish the rest of the step 3. So you need to copy question Q2's code here. You need to paste it into a new cell. Once again, use Shift and Enter to run the new cell. You'll have to save the new updated notebook file and then go back to the PowerShell window to run your autograder test script again. This time, your test script will give you a total score of 100 and both of your tests for Q1 and Q2 should pass. Let me go back to the project write-up here. You've been asked to copy paste this additional detail where you have to copy paste oops into the last cell. Let me go ahead and do that and run the cell. What if you want to delete a particular cell in Jupyter Notebook? You can do that by selecting the cell by left clicking on it, pressing escape key on your keyboard and hitting DD. Once again, you'll have to hit DD key after you press escape on your keyboard to delete a particular cell. Whenever you want to turn in your project code, you need to always do kernel and hit restart and run all. This will ensure that your notebook file does not have any stale execution. Once you hit kernel restart and run all, save the notebook file using Control S, go back and run your test script again. Once you're able to confirm that you got a test script score of 100, you can go to the course website and turn in your project. Let me open the course website link really quickly. So I'm going to go to the Spring 21 course website and I'm going to navigate to Projects tab. Make sure you're signed in using your Whisk credentials here. select project P1 from the drop down box and click on choose file. You should be able to navigate to documents folder, CS220 folder, P1 and select main.ipynb. Click on open. Go ahead and click the submit button. Notice that you got an error. The error here is saying your submission was not uploaded due to errors. Check bulleted errors carefully. You need to scroll all the way down to the submission status section and notice that you're getting an error down here, actually 4 errors down here saying no value specified for project, partner, submitter, partner and hours. This error is showing up because we did not add the header cell to our notebook file. I'm going to switch back to the project write-up here. Scroll all the way until you reach step 5. Copy paste this format and switch back to your notebook file. Click on the first cell and click on insert and click on insert cell above. Paste whatever you copied. Make sure you have the correct project ID, which is P1 here. And then you need to type in your net ID in the submitter field. If you have a partner, type in their net ID here or type in none. For the hours field, I'm going to just type in say 0.3 to indicate that I've worked on this for about 20 minutes. Give an approximate estimate of how long it took for you to complete a particular project. I'm going to go ahead and save the notebook file. You need to make sure to precisely follow this format for all future projects. You're not supposed to change the structure because that will cause problems with detecting your net ID and your project evaluation will take longer if we have to enable you to fix those things. So stick to this format for every project. So since I did not modify the code, I can just save my file here and I'll try to upload the updated version of my code. If you did modify your code, go back and do kernel restart run all. Make sure to run your autograder script and then, sorry, I missed something. Kernel restart run all, save your notebook file, run your autograder script and then upload the updated version of your project code. So I'm just going to upload the updated version as such and notice that this time I was able to submit the code. How can you view your submissions? If you're in Projects tab, make sure you've selected the correct project and click on View Submissions. You should see a list of all the submissions. All of the prior submissions are from my Mac laptop, so you can ignore that. On your laptop, you should be able to see 2 submissions. The first one being the incorrect one without the header and the second one being the correct one with the header. That will be it for completing Project P1.